Hello and welcome! Silrace here with Heroes of the Storm, and this is Support Sunday. This is actually post-gameplay commentary, as in I have recorded this game already, but I am talking over it now for the Support Sunday. This is unlike most of my Support Sundays where I actually play and talk at the same time. So, let's talk about stuff. Because I am duo queuing here with D, who's playing the Tassadar. And the reason I am really using it this way, as in this is post-game commentary, is so I can talk about random things much better while I'm obviously not playing at the same time and I'm talking. Game has released and there are some interesting stuff going on now and all that stuff, which I really wanna touch a little bit on. General gameplay strategy when you are doing duo queue / solo queue, quick matches, all these things where you really don't have, let's say, the kind of communication to really communicate complex plays and whatnot. Also, chat is going to be part of the game, so that's one reason why I'm doing this, and you can probably guess what the chat is going to be about, or like, and yeah. So, right, another thing I am going to point out right now, which is most of what I'm going to talk about the chat, or touch on the chat. Rather, two things. Before I get to Tassadar's abilities and stuff. Two main things. Firstly, if you are speaking something else than English in the chat while we're trying to contest the top shrine and have the middle shrine. If you are speaking language other than English in the chat, it is quite likely that you will completely and utterly be ignored by everyone who doesn't speak that language. When you actually change to English and start calling plays, for example. So, never ever speak something else than English in the chat, unless you obviously don't know English, in which case you probably will not be even watching this video, and also unless your entire team knows the language you speak in the chat. Because the fact is, how it works for most people, they see a language they cannot understand and they just tune out whoever is talking that language because it's meaningless to them, so they don't pay any attention to it. And so suddenly when there is English from that same guy, it is not noticeable, they will not pay attention. So speak English in chat unless you really want to be ignored, kind of. The other thing to note about the chat business as well. If you are out there to criticize other people's plays, insult them for their plays and whatnot, you are doing it wrong, alright? Especially so if you still happen to have account level below level 20. This is the most funny to me, is when people who honestly haven't put that many hours into the game, or then going out their way to harass and insult plays made by other folks who have put hours into the game. Much more hours. Not saying that they are necessarily better just because they have played more, but they have more experience with the game in general. And no matter how much experience you might have with other games of the genre, they don't translate all that well into Heroes of the Storm. And one more thing about chat and languages in general. Just because you are talking random language, I'll just use the term again because I just used it as well. Just because you're talking that, don't expect that people cannot actually understand. That is the most hilarious thing you can ever do. Insult someone on language you don't expect them to understand is really a bad idea online, and this is also a really bad play by me because I can't see anyone on the map, but I am gonna push this for it. Alright, here they come. Anyways, really, because honestly you can never know who knows what language online. like at all. Okay, so there is D calling the very simple game plan for solo queue and crew and duo queue stuff when you are doing quick matches. This is the simplest possible game plan you can get. Don't do any unnecessary team fights until level 10. Because if you stop soaking XP from lanes, like you all group up somewhere and you get maybe one kill, while the enemies actually soak XP from the lanes, they are getting ahead of you in XP. And that means they are also getting level 10 first, very likely. What does soaking XP means? It means you are in range of the minions on the lane who are dying. You don't have to kill them. You do not have to kill them. You just have to be in range, right? And here we're gonna try to capture the temple. Let's see how this works out. Obviously not going to be very well in the end because, well, we're kind of low in HP and the entire enemy team is here. Lily though isn't. This is the kind of a team fight which is necessary before level 10, because objectives are very, very important. Unfortunately, Lily saw me go into the bush, and I don't have anyone here to help me out, and this Lily obviously didn't wanna come my way to drop me a heal. So, anyways, unnecessary team fights, ganking squad, roaming squad is good and stuff, and it can work, but you need to soak XP from lanes for it to really, really work. If you are out there doing random plays, sitting in a bush somewhere waiting to gank people or whatnot, and you leave an entire lane without being soaked, as has happened for our team here a few times by now. So, then of course, you're kind of likely to fall more and more behind. So yeah, like here, enemy team got level 10 before, and I'm gonna go in mid lane, I'm gonna get enough the XP to get us to level 10. D did the same in top lane, and unfortunately, because of all that stuff, we had teammates again going for those kind of unnecessary team fights in middle of nowhere for no objectives. It's like, this is not necessarily a good idea, and unfortunately I also juked into a wrong direction, but alright. I got out of alive because I'm Tassadar, and Tassadar is awesome like that. Anyways, Tassadar still is a support hero and requires team to actually play very well, but let's quickly talk over the Tassadar's abilities. So, Tassadar's first ability, which I cannot call Q because it's not bound to Q for me like always. Tassadar's first ability is an absorption shield. It's a big absorption shield. Tassadar doesn't have a straight up heal in his kit, but he has absorption shields. So there is that. Then second ability is Psionic Storm, which you lay on the ground and or rather cast on it's a small area effect attack which keeps dealing damage to anyone who is in the area. Very, very good for pushing lanes down faster, killing creeps quickly. Then you have the Shift ability, which basically, I don't know, it really takes you into the void. It shifts you into a different plane, which you see me use here, and all that funkiness. And I'm just gonna walk away from the rattle. So put that down in front of me in case he decided to jump over me, but he didn't, so okay. So that thing, it turns you invisible for a short time and it makes you immune to basically everything. So you can just, you can do very short jukes with it into bushes and whatnot. And here is another possible necessary team fight. And now we are past level 10 though, so there is no XP race at the moment. Except obviously trying to keep up with XP and with the enemy teams so don't fall too much behind, and trying to win the game. That's obviously helpful. So yeah. I decided for Heroic because of the team makeup and all that stuff. I decided to go with Archon instead of Force Wall. Force Wall is very workable, but Archon is, well, it is simply better if you need to be more self-reliant, and Tassadar is pretty self-reliant hero. As for trait, Tassadar increases his view range, it's an active trait, increases view range and knocks stealthed heroes out of stealth. Unfortunately, there are no stealthed heroes on the enemy team, and that was kind of expected that they would come from that direction because they vanished from the map. The unfortunate fact was that our team wasn't in position to truly counter that, and the reactions were a bit slow. Even on me, like I should have boosted Archon out at the moment I saw them all vanish from the map, because then it was kind of clear they were coming. Oh well, I got the towers, fell way too much behind and all that stuff, and then of course more of the chat happens, because, well, you didn't have to come with me when I was doing that push. Oh well. Another thing to note though, if you are really good at the game, if you believe you are really good at the game, then you probably are not. But if you are really good at the game, play tank. When you are solo queuing, play the tank, because a good initiation, good engagement will win you the game. So yeah, this is just me going on about the chat, because I sometimes get really tired of watching this usual stuff, and of course at this point the complainers have already given up and are sitting in the fountain, kind of, yeah. So very typical attitude. Let's put it this way. I am very baffled. Like, why would you spend your time playing games such as this if, firstly, you give up very easily, and secondly, don't want to play, because that seems like a really bad idea. Anyway, or rather, waste of your time, I suppose, because in the end, every game is winnable if you play well. That's the thing. If you play well, it's not so much about how badly other people on your team play. If you play to the perfect ability of yourself, you can affect the outcome very much. Of course, it is a team game, and there are times where you will lose no matter how well you play, because the enemy team plays simply better. And so yeah, simple as that. Sometimes the enemy team plays better. That is how it goes. And when it happens, that's good. And here the enemy team has played really well, good game. There's not much can do, especially and also note that the more you insult people, the more you complain, the less likely people are to actually want to play with you ever. So if you want to actually team up with folks and whatnot, don't insult people in random games. Those might be the folks you might be wanting to team up at some point in the game, huh? So, oh well, and I got hit by that damn dragon, so can't get out of that. Anyways, game's almost done. Kind of gonna drag this on a little bit further because, hell, no, heck, and whatnot. But yeah, there is some stats for you to check on in the end. So it is funky stats, in the sense like I don't believe the stats matter all that much. I don't believe the stat screen tells you everything which goes on the game at all. But it also doesn't, or rather, it also does tell you a little bit of how well people have done whatever it is they do. And this is obviously a dead ETC, it cannot go anywhere. So there is that. So we can drag this game on a little bit, but at this point, because of well, if you look at how the bases are and how well, now we have caught up with the talent, but with the fact that we have people kind of spread out and whatnot, also again, it's going to be painful. But even if we lose one of these temples, it's kind of over, because our base is kind of in shambles, in tatters, and there is not too much can do here with these team comms, and you cannot dive the Vala, cannot dive the Tigers, not too much when the tank goes at an odd time, let's just put it that way. So that is why I said if you are good at this game, play tanks, play warriors, because you can set the pace for the engagements and you can win so many games based on that alone. Yeah. Right. So Sky Temple is a map where pushing is kind of interesting concept, in the sense that any damage you can do with as a hero, you can do the buildings, is compounded more with the fact that, like, for example, let's say you can get down the 2 outer turrets and the gate, and then you use the temple to actually damage the fort, the keeps and the forts behind it. So that is something to note about the game, about this particular map. So, oh well. But you can also completely win this map by using the objective. All the objective only. So you do not need to necessarily push on this map. You just need to control the objectives very well. So here we go with the game-ending push, because people already gave up ages ago, which was kind of evident from the way they played. So there was no way to come back in the game when folks gave up, essentially. So there is that as well. So thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you learned something from this. If you are a newer player, if you are an older veteran player, why not? Hopefully you learned something. Things to do, things not to do, and well, getting to level 10 around the same time the enemy team does is kind of good course of action, and unnecessary team fights can be really bad as well. Well, occasionally can be good, but they can be really bad. Thank you very much for watching.